Hello everyone, this is Jorge Diaz, President and Founder of Larry Jacob Internet Marketing, and I'm bringing you another episode of Defining Infusionsoft Success. This week my guest is Alison Boyle. Alison, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Well, Alison is connecting with me via the internet. She's in the UK. That's why you see a little bit more light on her side. It's really early morning here in Miami. We're kind of battling the time zones. Alison, so she is a partner. She's another Infusionsoft partner, and she's got an area that she's really exploring in the learning space. People have to learn Infusion somehow, and that's kind of an area of interest for her, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I meet so many people who feel a bit overwhelmed by it and not quite sure where to start. So yeah, it kind of got me thinking to going down this route.
Good, good. And I know we when we take on new customers, we work to connect them up typically with self-paced or self-serve type of training, so that they build a foundation of Infusionsoft, and then the solutions that we built, which typically are membership sites, right on top of that. We provide the training on our solution, but we find it's better if they get the the training either through some other source, and that's kind of the area where you're at, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So I guess where is it that you're starting, or how do people need to learn Infusionsoft?
Okay, so there's a couple of different types of businesses that I've typically come across, and one is the owner who wants to learn how to do it all themselves, and there's also the owner that just they want it, they understand the principle of it, but they haven't got the time, or they haven't got the effort to even just learn how to get a quick win. And what was happening was that there were businesses buying Infusionsoft, and then very quickly they were just saying, do you know what, it's too much for me, I'm just going to unregister, and they cancel it. So I thought, well, why is this? Why are they doing that? And I think the bottom line is that they're not getting, or they weren't getting, a return on it because they found it all too complex and too overwhelming. So I just kind of thought that it would be really good if to create a course where people could, yes, they could learn at their own pace, but there's a goal at the end of it. So when you go into the course that I'm creating, it will teach you, you'll understand holistically how Infusionsoft is meant to operate. So in other words, there's a psychology behind the software. It's not just any old CRM. You have to get behind how it thinks and what it's wanting you to do. So once you kind of understand that, then the next steps make sense. But then you need to follow step by step how to get it working for you, and more than anything, how to get your return on it. So that's my whole idea and whole concept behind the course.
Nice. Nice, and I mean, I know where you're, having worked with Infusionsoft for 6 years, I definitely get it, because I'll bring in programmers onto my team, and when we're building membership sites, the main thing I look for is WordPress skills, because that's kind of like the critical thing that I don't think it makes sense for us to invest in training them, but if I can get a WordPress person, and then I can show them, first of all, why Infusionsoft, more so than how. Then the how comes later, but it's that bridge, because otherwise I find that my programmers will come up and try to build in WordPress things that Infusionsoft has built in and are easy to use, and it's because they don't kind of get it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And it's understanding the boundaries with WordPress, and then where you should switch from WordPress to Infusionsoft. So having a background, I mean, I've been working with WordPress specifically since 2009,
Okay.
and we've been building out hundreds of websites, excuse me, for clients. Um, and then, coming across Infusionsoft, and the two together just made so much sense. It just made perfect sense to, to build together, to market together. So you've got your website, and then you've got somewhere where you can capture data and you can actually nurture and market to these people who are coming to your website. So it just made sense. Excuse me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now it was interesting when we had a chance to meet face to face a couple weeks back at Traffic and
Yeah.
Conversion, and she was telling me about a lot of the science behind this. You know, getting into neurolinguistic programming and things like that. Now, how does that play into this?
Well, absolutely. I mean, interestingly, I had a client just recently where they had almost inherited Infusionsoft, and they just wanted to know the very, very basics. And I'm like, it doesn't quite work that way. So when I went and did a training session with them, I explained that you need to think about, actually, Infusionsoft is there to capture your leads and to nurture your leads, and then make sure and understand from their behavior and from segmentation and from what they're interested in as to when the right time to buy is, so that you know when to position yourself as, well, actually, I'm not ready to buy right now, but I might be ready to buy in maybe 2 months or 3 months. And all that while, you're on their radar, and you know, because of the behavior that they've showed by the different links that they've clicked on, and understanding that gives you the edge over your competition with your when it comes to managing your prospects.
Right.
And it obviously,
Yeah, and interestingly enough, that's how do I say that? That's where you really get the benefits from Infusionsoft. But
yes,
learning how
absolutely.
to use the campaign manager technically doesn't cross over that.
No, you're absolutely right, because there are so many moving parts to the campaign builder, and not just the number of moving parts. There's also third-party integrations that
Sure.
you might need to make things do certain things, and make things happen the way you want them to happen.
Sure.
So you're absolutely right, and that's where it will all depend, and ultimately it will all depend on what type of lead magnet you have, and where you want to direct and where you want to take your prospects to. So if you're taking them onto a webinar, for example, then it might be that you'll sell on the webinar, but also after the webinar, it might be a lot of businesses, or a lot of business owners will get sales from following up in the 3, 4, 5 days after the webinar. Or if it's just a download, if it's just you're giving away a free download, and that's just a landing page, and then they want to come in and, or you want to follow that up and say, well, how was it? And then try and discover and understand a bit more about their situation or their position to see, did it, find out more about what it is they want. So it's actually being a little bit clever about how you contact them with your messages and your emails, or if you schedule a call with them, just to find out exactly what it is they're interested in, so that then you know what the next step is for them, and making them kind of an individual, making them, because nobody's the same. Nobody wants everything right now,
Yeah. No, and
and sometimes you just have to figure out the right time for when people want to buy.
yeah, I know when I was starting to use Infusionsoft, I was working corporate America, and my job was to run events and putting butts in seats. And
Yes.
sometimes you'd be working with people that really weren't on the Infusionsoft side of things, so they weren't on the email nurturing side. And it's kind of like, not that many people showed up. And I go, not a problem. But a bunch of people registered and didn't show. And
Yes.
I was
Yes.
just as interested in the people that didn't show as I was for the people that went. Because if someone, if someone shows an interest enough to sign up for something and then they don't show, you can really take the approach of, hey, we really missed you. You missed out on something. And that's the beginning of a nice sales discussion. It's like, I'm doing you the favor of filling you in on what you missed.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Because, everyone, particularly in this day and age, everyone leads busy lives, and they can't all be, and especially if they're in different time zones or all over the world, they can't all be or all to show up when you are scheduling your webinar. So to capture those people and to engage with those people that couldn't make it for whatever reason, and just to do that follow-up, the conversions on the follow-up can be just as good as actually on the live webinar.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
So in this course here that you've got in the works, and we'll kind of keep people followed up on this as this kind of comes out. What can they expect? I mean, are you targeting that business owner that wants to do it themselves, or is it for someone who?
So I think the target is for the business owner that wants to do it themselves, but maybe learn and maybe out of hours if they're busy in their business every day, and they don't want to pay for necessarily a partner to do stuff for them, so they want to try and learn it out of hours. Or maybe they've got an employee or a partner or somebody who they need to just get on board and say, do you know what, I want to do this myself. They're the kind of people that I'm targeting. So once you get into the program, and the program will cover itself. It will cover from segmentation to lead capture to segmentation, lead capture, nurturing, the campaign builder, and then follow-ups and referrals. And so actually effectively the whole life cycle marketing from start to finish. So once you've been through the whole course, you will get a prospect from just opting into your lead magnet to giving you an automated response saying how wonderful your service was, this was the best thing that I ever did, and being your best referrer. So it's about nurturing them and delivering and over-delivering. And if you can create all of that, and all you need for the course is a website, an Infusionsoft, and maybe lead magnet software like ClickFunnels or Lead Pages, something like that. And then
something for putting up the sales pages and the opt-in pages, right?
Yes. I mean, sometimes people want to use WordPress. I think there are more restrictions with WordPress, although Thrive Themes is pretty good these days. But all you need is just...
I started using Thrive Themes myself for my opt-in pages, and I've been very impressed. Now, keep in mind, I'm a web developer, so I want something that's I don't care if it's a little hard to use, and it isn't. But since we're using it to build our websites, the same interface can be used to building those, and so we don't have to go into ClickFunnels or Lead Pages.
Yes, absolutely. So, it might be that you've got WordPress and you've installed Thrive Themes, and that would be perfect because they've got some great templates on there as well for landing pages and stuff.
So is your course going to kind of bleed outside of Infusionsoft? Because once you get into that space, I mean, if you...
It's a good question, actually. I'm not sure. I'm looking for 6 people who are going to be like a pilot, and are going to be my people that are going to give me feedback, so to help me develop it, so that it actually is something that they say, oh my God, yeah, this is solving all of my, and ticking all of my, I need this boxes. So I'm and if one of those things is maybe ClickFunnels and Lead Pages, then I might absolutely include that in the course as well.
Gotcha. Cool. So I think we had mentioned this. I might have one of my people, if you got space in your little beta or pilot project, have one of our folks kind of look at it and give you some feedback, because I mean, we're Infusionsoft folks, but this is going to really cover a lot of the thinking that goes into these, especially on the
Yeah,
on the lead
because
capture.
the other thing as well is I think when businesses just get Infusionsoft, they think yes, this is the solution to everything, and to a point it is, but it's not if you're not thinking in the same way that Infusionsoft thinks. And what I mean by that is that if you're not thinking strategically, if you're going into this thinking, oh, I just want to send out an email, I just want to, do a newsletter and do it for newsletter stuff, then Infusionsoft is not the right tool. This is for people who have got lead magnets and who needs to nurture, because because of the strategic thinking that you have to have before you even dive into Infusionsoft. Because if you're not thinking along those lines, then that's when people say, it's too much, I can't cope with it, and they say, well, I'm going to
No, right,
cancel.
and
So I'm trying to,
yeah, the benefits of using it, of learning to use it versus because they're only using it for, like a MailChimp or something, doesn't really
yes,
justify it.
yes, exactly, absolutely. And so you have to think differently. You have to change your mindset to get your head around this. And I think that's absolutely one of the key things that will make your business become successful once you've started to think the same way that Infusionsoft thinks. Then you're on the way to success.
Great. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Well, Alison, let's do this. If people want to get a hold of you, how can they reach you?
Okay, so I have a couple of websites. My agency website is www.lamarketing.net,
And that stands for
and
Los Angeles, I'm sure.
no, it doesn't stand for Los Angeles at all. It was actually, the company was started by myself and my husband, and his name's Lionel, so it's just simply Lionel and Alison.
Gotcha.
So
So now you can remember it's lamarketing.net.
now you can remember it, lamarketing.net, and my Infusionsoft training program is on www.thedigitaltrainingground.com. So that's where the course will be launched.
Okay, and we'll make sure that when we publish this, we'll include those URLs for you. Well,
Okay,
hey, Alison,
perfect.
thank you so much for breaking out of your busy day to chat with me. I really appreciate
Oh,
it.
you're welcome. You're absolutely more than welcome. It's been a real pleasure.
Okay. Well, hey, you have a great day.
Okay, thanks, George.